Congratulations, you finally decided that your time is worth something. So now what? Well, if you are traveling a lot, hopefully you are starting to look at private aviation as a way to reduce time when you're on the road. If you're the owner of a high cash flowing business that's super profitable, or you're the CFO of a larger corporation, you might be looking at newfound ways to perhaps get some better tax incentives, depreciation exposure, etc. And if you're flying north of 20 hours, like generally more than 100 hours for jet ownership, but what I'm talking about today is sort of from 20 to 100 hours of private jet usage per year, fractional ownership is worth considering. Fractional ownership is where you buy a portion of the jet, i.e. 25%. You're an owner of 25% of that asset. You share the risk with 3 other owners, and obviously the upfront capital is a lot less. You will not find a private jet in Australia for 1.3 million Australian that is airworthy, or that I would even trust to put my family on. And of course, if you're flying north of 100 hours, definitely go buy something yourself, because the amount of usage that you're doing makes a lot of sense. So let's have a quick comparison as to why would I go from chartering, say 50 hours per year, to fractional ownership. Well, again, if you don't have a high cash flowing business, or you're not the CFO of a very profitable business, absolutely keep chartering. You can get some deductions in there for business travel, happy day. But if you're starting to take things seriously and you're looking for those tax incentives, including depreciation on the asset, here's why. So for 25% of a Phenom 100, which is a beautiful 4-seat light jet, you're looking at 1.31 plus GST. Now, obviously, to buy any sort of jet of that size outright, of course, you're probably looking north of 5 million Australian. And at that price point, they tend to be a lot older and a lot less efficient. And let's say you were chartering a similar size jet, 50 hours, not including pilot day rates, overnights, etc. You're probably looking north of $4,000 per hour. So that's 200K in usage. So, okay, we've got our 1.31 million. We've got our annual fee of 140K. What you then need to consider is hourly rate for owners is $25.15 per hour, times 50 hours is just over 125K. So obviously we're looking at 265 versus 200. You go, it makes sense kind of, but it's still not looking right. Well, now what we do is, when you're not using your asset, Airly is using your asset. So you're earning a margin for every hour that we take your asset and feed it into our network. So let's say hypothetically, we get the whole ownership group 200 hours. Let's say the margin is 850 per hour. Now, obviously we have efficiencies for owners. So we've had occasions where an owner needed the jet in Sydney when it's based in Brisbane, and we already had the jet down there from one of our trips, saved him $7,000 easily. But let's just say at the 850 by 200 hours, per quarter share ends up being 42.5K per year in revenue generated from your asset. So what are we looking at here now? It's 265 less the 42. We're getting far closer to this $200,000, aren't we? Once you factor in the income, along with the fixed annual fees and your hourly rate for your 50 hours, we're very close to being on par with that $200,000, plus the benefit of now having that depreciation available to you. If you're in between that 20 and 100 hour mark, you're loving private aviation, you're saving time. This is what it's all about. Light private jets are not about the Kardashian effect. Instead, they're about being cost-effective time machines.